Hello guys and welcome to day 2 of Next Gen Base's Game of the Year content. I'm Ben and as ever I'm joined by Andy, Gary and Johnny who are all here. Say hello.
Hello.
There they are, beautiful people.
You didn't start it with day 2 now.
No, that's because I've got a soul.
Okay.
So today we're going to run through a couple more categories, starting with the best soundtrack. So best soundtrack obviously isn't just limited to music. We're sort of focusing a little bit on the sound design as well and things like that. I think Hellblade got it last year for the use of spatial audio and stuff like that, which was
good.
Well, it was amazing.
That's a lovely game.
It is. So we've got two in here, and basically the runner up is for Spider-Man.
Yes.
Gary,
Okay.
there we go. Gary, I know you chose Spider-Man as your best soundtrack.
I did, yeah. I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times on the podcast before. But yeah, the soundtrack for Spider-Man was fantastic. I just loved the way it had like an epic sort of score alongside like sort of audio that was mixed in from like Amazing Spider-Man. It also had sort of bits and pieces from other sort of Marvel parts of the universe, and it just I thought it went perfectly with the game. The way it adjusts depending on the sort of situation you're in. So if you're in an high intense sort of situation, the score would change. And yeah, I just loved the soundtrack for Spider-Man. There's some good soundtracks this year as well, but for me personally, being like I say a massive Spider-Man fan, I just felt that the soundtrack for Spider-Man just was sort of perfect for the character itself and the world you was in. So yeah, that was why I voted it.
Yeah, absolutely was. And I think you've hit it on the head there where, you know, if you leap off a building and just start swinging, you get that orchestral swell underneath you.
Yeah,
and you just feel like a badass.
Yeah,
it's so good. Because I think it cribs a lot from the Avengers soundtrack as well, doesn't
Definitely, yeah, it does. Yeah,
you've got that.
It's got a sort of, like I say, Amazing Spider-Man sort of taken from that, and then with like the sort of other sort of Marvel parts of the universe, like the Avengers. It's all blended in brilliantly. So
yeah.
I think a lot of the sort of the Marvel games do tend to do that these days, though, don't they? I think the Avengers has kind of set the standard for what a Marvel soundtrack needs to feel like, because the Lego games as well have got that very sort of Avengers-y feel to them.
that's true.
Yeah.
So I think that's, you know, it's a worthy runner-up, and I think really the only other option was Red Dead. Red Dead Redemption 2 gets the gong for the best soundtrack. Robin said the sound design as a whole is thoroughly impressive throughout Red Dead Redemption 2. The music, speech and sound effects all combine seamlessly to add to the depth and the atmosphere of what is one of the most impressive achievements in recent gaming memory. Red Dead is a real, living, breathing world, and one whose excitement and emotion is heightened by the authentic, evocative soundtrack. There were 2 moments in Red Dead Redemption 2 where I just thought, 3 actually. There were 3 moments where I thought this is exactly why this is going to win my pick for the best soundtrack. Annoyingly, I can't really talk about them too much because they're quite late on they are quite late on in the game. But it's there's a couple where like the control's kind of taken away from you, and you go into the cinematic mode and you sort of ride along on your horse, and you've just got like music playing underneath you, and it fits almost perfectly to the length of the journey that you're making. And it happens twice, and there's another mission which is in the epilogue which cribs from another game. I'm sure some people will be able to work out what it is, but it cribs from somewhere else, and the refrain that plays, it just all of a sudden puts you back in that place. You go, oh man, this is brilliant, and it's so good. And I'll say I don't want to give it away with you know spoilers for it. But the way that the music intertwines with everything in that game is just it's brilliant. And you know you get the sort of jangly guitars that you'd expect from a western, but then also like you know you go into a saloon and you've got the guy on the organ, and you know you've got everyone sitting there with their glasses clinking and everything else, and it's just really good. I mean, Gary, I know you've played quite a lot of Red Dead. Would you say that's fair?
Oh yeah, 100%. For me, like Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack, just talking about that for a second, is absolutely stunning. Like you say, like the sort of music they use and the audio cues and that for that sort of timepiece is like perfectly done. But and not just that, but also like the audio from the like characters within the world, like the sort of wildlife, everything sort of entwines together to just create this world that feels, from an audio perspective, that feels just like you're in that time period. It's really, really like well done. It's typical Rockstar. They don't release bad games, let's be honest. And yeah, the way everything sort of, like I say, entwines. The audio. Did anyone see the performance of the orchestra at the Game Awards for Red Dead Redemption 2? They done a little piece.
I saw a bit of it. I've not gone through the whole thing.
Absolutely incredible, and it just makes you sort of realise, just how good it is for that game. But yeah, totally. Our best soundtrack has to be Red Dead Redemption, because there were so many of us that voted for it. Just great stuff. Yeah, brilliant.
Fair enough. There we go.
Can I make an inquiry at this point, Ben?
You can.
Because I missed the best soundtrack category and didn't suggest one. If I had have done, if I'd have been on the ball, which I'm not, it would have been Tetris Effect. Did anyone else vote for Tetris Effect?
They didn't, unfortunately.
Surprising.
I would have done, but my vote went to Red Dead because it's
I love the Tetris Effect.
It's genuinely brilliant. However, Tetris Effect will come up in another category.
Exciting.
So we're moving into the best surprise.
Right.
So the best surprise of 2018, game that either we didn't see coming or we thought was going to be shit, but actually turned out to be brilliant.
Right.
I think we've basically covers the bases in this one. So Andy, your choice for the biggest surprise was God of War.
It was, yeah.
Because I don't think you were a massive fan of the previous ones. But...
No. I was a huge God of War fan. I think what surprised me with God of War was just how mature they've made that series. Because, I mean, God of War as a series has always been like the sort of the teenager's wet dream, really, hasn't it? It's got the swears and it's got the blood. Yeah, it's basically that sort of, it's a big over the top, very silly, very teenage boy sort of fantasy series. God of War 2018, though, absolutely beautiful game, beautiful narrative, wonderful design. I mean, they've always been good lookers, but just the narrative that they had going, and certainly from someone who's spent the last nearly 13 years as a parent and learning what parenting is all about, the kind of the narrative angles that they took really struck a chord with me. And it kind of feels like the last time I probably took an outing with Kratos was probably when my oldest kid was a really small baby, and now it's the point where he's probably about the same age as Atreus in the game. And you feel like Kratos is sort of me then, me now. This sort of slightly older, slightly wiser. Let's say wiser, that sounds fucking ridiculous, doesn't it? But you know what I mean. It's kind of it's really matured, and it's gone from being this epitome of the back of the exercise book sketches of big swords and muscly morons to a really tender story about father and son surviving in the world. And it absolutely took me completely by surprise and blew me away with just how damn good it was.
Yeah,
I was expecting it to be terrible. It was just how good it actually was so surprising. Yeah,
that's fair enough. I mean, I think that's. Yeah, I get you on that one. I think a lot of people weren't expecting it to be anywhere near the level of maturity that was shown. Johnny, you went with Metal Gear Survive.
Is that not the winner?
No.
Shit.
So why did you pick Metal Gear Survive?
I assume that would win. No, yeah. I think the thing about Metal Gear, I've done this before as well, but compare it to Fallout 76 in that. In that Fallout 76 is a very cynical cash-in based on a beloved franchise that didn't work. Whereas Metal Gear, it did work because the game engine for Metal Gear is fucking solid. And you can put anything on that and it will play beautifully. Hello? Yeah, there you go.
It's
got a fan in.
It's a
fan for Metal Gear there.
Solid game engine.
So what?
It's a solid game engine.
Oh, I didn't even mean that deliberately, but yeah, I'm so smart.
I realised that's why I was explaining it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, but they actually hung it on a decent game engine, and it worked very well. And I thought it was very stupid, but I've always thought Metal Gear plot lines were quite stupid, so it didn't seem that far fetched for me. So yeah, I was
Okay.
all right with it. I thought it was going to be a real mess, and I quite enjoyed it. And me and you and Kira jumped on and had a few games online, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Poke some zombies through fences, because that's what you do in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good fun. I think
Yeah.
it's a fair nomination. I think it was it was something that not many people expected a lot of. Obviously, the reaction to the trailer was somewhat hostile last year at E3, but yeah, it's a decent game. Gary, you went with the Spyro Trilogy.
I did, yeah. I used to love the Spyro games as a kid. And to be honest, I wasn't really expecting this when it got announced to be as good as it was when it came out. I was expecting just a sort of a lazy port, if you will. But to be fair, and I think if they would have done that, it would have been an absolute disaster because a lot of those sort of 3D games from back on the original PlayStation don't hold up well today. But to be fair to, is it something? I can't remember the name of the developer.
Toys for Bob.
Toys for Bob's, that's it. Yeah, they, as far as I know, they sort of built the game from the ground up, created an engine to sort of essentially, what's the word, like use sort of wire structures to create from the old game to bring to the new game and then sort of put the art on top.
Oh, okay.
Sort of adjusted the animations and stuff like that. So they basically built the games from scratch. And I was really surprised. It looks beautiful. It handles. It's really tight with the controls. And it just plays brilliantly. Arguably the third game isn't as good as the others, but as a package, and it's good value as well. I was really surprised by how good it plays. So yeah, that is why I went for Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
Excellent. Deb went for Yoku's Island Express. I think that was a game that seemed to come out of nowhere, and it was actually her top pick or second pick actually for Game of the Year. She really enjoyed that. I think when it got released, she gave it a stone cold 10, which was it's a very good game. Is Yoku's Express. However, the winner of our best surprise of 2018 goes to Tetris Effect.
Hey.
Yeah, so it was myself and Kieran that chose this one. Kieran, where is he? Kieran said, sorry, best surprise, another Tetris Effect, another Tetris game. I thought, how naive. When I sat down and watched Tetris Effect unveil itself before my very eyes, I found myself entranced. Tetris shouldn't be this encapsulating, yet somehow the masterminds behind the game have managed to evoke so much emotion from it. I only witnessed the game in a small burst, but it was such an incredible experience and one that completely blindsided me. And I think I've got to really echo that. It was when it got unveiled. I think it got unveiled during the E3 press conference, in between where people were moving between the stages, because I think they slightly ballsed that one up. But yeah, it got revealed, and I was sat there just thinking, "What is this game? It just looks amazing." And the fact that it's from Mizuguchi, who's the guy behind Rez and Luminous. It's just beautiful. Like you can sit there and just go into the endless chill mode and just play for ages. Like, I sat down and thought to myself, I'll have a quick half an hour on Tetris Effect, and then like 3 hours later, I'm still there, just like with my mind going mental. At like, I need to get, and then I can drop that one there, and it'll be good. And finding myself getting quicker and quicker and quicker through the levels, and it's such a good game. And the fact that I'm sat here in 2018 going, there's a new Tetris game and it's really good, and it's stopped me from playing I think at one point it actually stopped me from playing Red Dead. It's like
wow.
It's incredible. So if you haven't played Tetris Effect yet, I think you should probably get it because it's brilliant. And it also, we should probably mention this one quickly because there's not that many people that have been able to submit options for this one, but Tetris Effect also takes home our best VR game of 2018 because it's basically me and Nick that have got VR headsets, and Nick went with Beat Saber on the Oculus and on the PlayStation VR now as well, I think. But I went with Tetris Effect, and I just think Tetris Effect is very much like Rez in that it's a great game, but then you put the VR headset on and it's. I don't like using the word transformative because it sounds really wanky, but it genuinely is. Like, it's just such an amazing experience when you've got the headset on and you can move the camera around the board and you can zoom in, you can zoom out, and you can sort of trigger the effects and things like that. It's brilliant. I can't recommend it highly enough. Like, if you've got a PlayStation VR, pick up Rez, pick up Tetris, and pick up Super Hot, and you will never look back. It's just amazing experience.
So basically, what you've just done is used your editorial privileges to override a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm cool with it. Yeah, sorry, Nick, I'm cool with it. But to be fair, best old game went to Destiny. There we go. Right, so we're going to move on to the final category of the day, which is the most anticipated game. So most anticipated of 2019. There's a few of these that have gone on, but I don't actually know if they're going to be released in 2019.
I mean, I know mine doesn't have a date attached to it at all, but goodness me, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, there is absolutely no chance in hell, Andy, that Metroid Prime 4 is coming out in 2019. Which would
no chance.
Might. I mean, they did a full 1 year cycle on Smash, didn't they? They announced it at the beginning of the year, and then it came out.
That's because Smash is a bad game.
Would you shut up? I mean, Metroid Prime 4 may come out next year. If I'm not allowed Metroid Prime 4, I will put my vote in then for Sekiro.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Let's die twice. Yeah,
fair enough. Gary, you went with Luigi's Mansion 3.
I did, yeah. Mine has got a date. Not a date. It's just 2019 at the moment. But I can't see that slip into 2020. To be honest,
no.
I've always been a huge Luigi's Mansion fan. I love the game. The original GameCube version and then the 3DS version. And yeah, to play this on the Switch on the go, Luigi's Mansion, it's got so much charm, Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's a great sort of character. He's a bit of a wuss, right?
He's a bit of a wet blanket,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, the Luigi's Mansion series is amazing and it's one of my sort of favourite series of all time. So for me to have Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch on the go, yeah, it sounds amazing. Yeah, so I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. To be honest, I still need to play the 3DS version. Although in order to do that, I need to get a 3DS. But
yeah, so good.
Yeah, I can second that. I played 2 on the 3DS. It was wonderful. So yeah, 3 sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that knocked the 3DS version down for me was the tilt controls.
Yeah, so, that was annoying.
Yeah, so certainly having the second analog stick on the Switch is going to be really nice for number 3. So
yes.
Okay. Nick went with Cyberpunk 2077, but I honestly don't think that's coming out next year.
Definitely not coming out in 2019.
You don't reckon? I thought it was.
No.
Do you reckon it's going to be next gen?
I would be very surprised if it hits next year. I think the
2020.
Yeah,
I mean, building to it, aren't they? They're building to it as if it is coming out next year, though.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's going to be like a massive show closer for E3 like it was this year, but yeah, I don't know. I'd be very surprised if it comes out. However, if it does, then yeah,
awesome.
I'm looking forward to that game immensely and can't wait to play it. So. What's next on the list? The next one was from Deb, which was the new Animal Crossing game.
Oh yeah.
She's really looking forward to that. It says, though there are many stunning games set to release next year, there's only one thing in my heart there's only one thing my heart's been longing for ever since I picked up my Switch. Animal Crossing. May not be the most graphically demanding or action-packed title to release, but what I've really missed this year is a good relaxing game, that I can just pick up every now and then and have that time to wind down and relax, talking to my animal friends and de-weeding the town with a nice cup of tea. So yeah, apparently she's played a lot of Pocket Camp quite a lot as well. So Deb is all in.
Didn't she say she was on it once a day, every day since it came out?
That, yeah. So yeah, she's all up for some more Animal Crossing. Yeah.
Tom Nooker's got her on his hook.
Hey. Yes. Completing the Nintendo roundup, Kieran's gone for Pokemon.
Hello.
Yeah.
The proper Pokemon.
The proper Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been confirmed for 2019.
It's just got 2019 at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay, so there's no right. So that they've given it a date of next year. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, that he wants that full classic Pokemon RPG experience with the same visual fidelity as found in Let's Go. And then that will actually make him buy a Switch because he's still not got one. So it's basically, as soon as they get that, then Nintendo have sold another Switch. However, the winner is mine and Johnny's choice,
Oy.
which is Doom Eternal.
Good shout.
Johnny,
Right.
talk to me about Doom.
Now, the thing about, we talked about Titanfall 2 on the other podcast, and the thing about that makes that one of its like USPs is the movement through it. It's not just like, first-person shooters nowadays aren't just like, walk, turn. Like, you have to have an extra movement thing. And Doom does that really, Doom 2016 did that so well, but it wasn't really like, it didn't have any sort of fancy wall running. It just, the whole thing flowed really well. Like, there's no reloading, which helped massively. And like, it was just like really incredibly quick and it moved really well and stuff. And I think like, it's just a real kind of blast of a 10-hour game.
Mhm.
And there's not really a lot to it. It's just like, kill things, but it does it so well. And so with such like, such joy that you have to kill things, like the kind of the what's the word I'm thinking? The melee kills, what are they called?
Glory kills.
Glory kills. When you get in nice and close, and like they're so over the top, and like glory kills, things like that are normally kind of boring, or it's like press a button to do a really elaborate thing, but they're just so over the top and like unnecessary. It's beautiful. Like you just like pull like things' eyes out and put them back down their throats and stuff, and like pull things' arms off and hit them with it. It's great, and it's an enormously silly game with like literally almost no story at all. I thought it was wonderful. I gave it 9 out of 10 in 2016. So therefore, the sequel to that will be better. That's how it works, right? Sequels are always better. Yeah? Yeah?
Yes.
Let's talk about Fallout again, shall we?
No, I'm with you on that. I think I'll tell you what sold me on Doom Eternal. It was during the gameplay video, and it's the bit where the Doom guy runs up to somebody and bops them on the head, and their head goes into their body.
Yes.
And they kind of like stumble around like they're sort of very short for a couple of seconds before they die.
It's like The Evil Dead. It's like a really kind of like stupidly gruesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all up for more Doom Eternal or more Doom. And to be honest, I think the thing that we will come to this in our in the actual in the full list because it made it quite high up on my list. But the thing is with Doom is that I think it's going to be a bit like Hitman in that the sequel, as long as they give me more Doom,
yes,
I will be fine. Like I was quite happy and quite content with just having more Hitman.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what I got from Hitman 2. And I'd quite like that from Doom Eternal. So,
the only thing I don't like about it is the name. I don't Doom Eternal. That's not doing it for me really.
No,
just like Doom 2.
You expect like some bad 90s cheesy girl band music to come on.
What do you mean bad? How dare you? Fucking pioneers.
Anyway.
But yeah, I don't get the name. But apart from that, I'm very excited for Doom 2. It's got a grappling hook in it, hasn't it?
It has.
There's some of that more movement that I was on about.
Yeah,
Traversal.
Doom Eternal takes home the award for most anticipated game from Next Gen Base for 2019. So we'll come back tomorrow, where the four of us. Sorry, I don't know who I was missing out there, but the four of us will sit down and we will go through. We will go through the best of the rest. So some of the games that people voted for that didn't quite make the top 10. They will then come back on the day after tomorrow. I can't work out what day is what, if I'm honest at this point. And we'll go through the top 10. So yes, we will see you guys next time for our Best of the Rest podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.